looking back at it now, being called flaca for most of my life impacted the way I saw my body. Welcome back to Tell Me Más with me, your host Tina, or how you may know me as Tinapreneur. And if you are new here, bienvenidos. Tell Me Más is a podcast made for Latinas by a Latina. But if you aren't Latina, you're still welcome. We mostly talk about mental health, entrepreneurship, wellness, all from the perspective of being Latina. So if that sounds like your vibe, I am so happy you are here. And to those returning listeners, I am so sorry. It has been a while since my last episode. I took the last few weeks of August off just to kind of rewire my brain, so to say. I felt like I just had like a couple week-long like brain fart. I just wasn't feeling creative. I wasn't feeling like myself creatively or creative wise, and so I just decided to take a break, seek inspiration. And I know I won't be able to do this once this podcast becomes bigger, so I kind of took it as a chance to come up with ideas not only for the podcast but for my TikTok platform as well. If you've ever been in a creative funk, you aren't alone, and it happens to the best of us. Just a few updates, life updates if you care, before we get into today's episode. One of the biggest updates is that I decided to get my yoga teacher training certification. So I applied to this program through a nonprofit, and I just really liked their teaching style in terms of keeping it holistic and not culturally appropriating yoga and really staying true to where it comes from. And I saw they were offering a scholarship for people of color to take their course. So I applied and I got it, and I'm so excited to finally start this journey towards becoming a yoga teacher, a Latina yoga teacher. My goal is, to make Latinos more interested in yoga and really see the benefits that it can have on their life, and also to make classes affordable, because that's one thing that pisses me off, is that yoga is really expensive for no freaking reason. Like, yes, pay your teachers fairly, but it shouldn't cost an arm and a leg to do something that is good for your body and that didn't stem from being all about money. So yeah, that's kind of my goal right now, and to eventually teach yoga's classes in Spanish and English virtually and make them affordable and more accessible. So that is the plan, and that is the biggest update. So I'm just so excited, you guys. I actually tried becoming a yoga teacher during college, but it just didn't feel right. I did take some of the courses towards getting the certification, but I just decided to not take the last one because I just didn't feel ready. I really feel like yoga is something that you need to immerse yourself in. It's more than just a workout. It's really just a practice. And I just really wanted to become more comfortable with yoga and learn more about it, become stronger myself before I teach people the practice of yoga. So I finally felt ready, and here we are. So I'm really excited, and definitely be taking you through the process. I'll be vlogging it as much as I can and talking about the journey. So if you're interested in becoming a yoga teacher, or you are a yoga teacher yourself, follow me on TikTok, and make sure to subscribe on YouTube to, learn about the process and learn about the journey and stay up to date with the journey. And of course, I'll be sharing like poses and tips and yoga related things that you can incorporate into your daily life. So yeah, that is the biggest update I have, and I think that perfectly ties into today's topic, sort of. Today's topic is all about body image and my own journey with body image as a Latina, and just a conversation about body image. I kind of started to learn more about body neutrality and versus body positivity, and that's a whole other conversation too. But yeah, just think of it as a conversation and kind of starting or sharing my journey towards loving my body more or seeing it more neutrally. And yeah, let's just get into it. I think as Latinas, we've all, have struggled with body image in one way or another, just because growing up we got called all sorts of nicknames. A lot of us can relate to, our parents calling us flaca, gorda, gordita, are just giving us nicknames based off of our body or what we look like, and it really impacts the way you start to see your body. And this is coming from my personal experience. Growing up, I was called flaca, flaquita. My brother would call me skinny weenie, but anyways, flaca translates to skinny. So growing up, it was my nickname, my term of endearment, ven para acá flaca, ¿cómo estás mi flaca? Stuff like that. And I didn't really see it negatively back then. If anything, I would sometimes see it as a compliment, and that just kind of goes, with all the things that we're fed growing up, that skinny is better than any other sort of body, especially in the early 2000s when skinny was in. Being stick thin and watching America's Next Top Model and seeing all these beautiful women of all bodies, be body shamed for not being the perfect size. I think in the back of my head growing up, I didn't see it as a bad thing, oh, they're calling me flaca. It's not, they don't mean it in a bad way. And they didn't mean it in a bad way. But looking back at it now, being called flaca for most of my life impacted the way I saw my body. So any sort of weight fluctuation, I almost felt like I was losing a part of my identity. I've really started to notice how being called that most of my life started to impact the way I see my body now, and it's hard. And I can't speak to being called gorda or gordita. That's something my cousin can speak to. She's 3 years younger than me. We pretty much grew up together. I see her pretty much as my younger sister. I was flaca, she was gordita. Ven para acá mi gorda, ven para acá mi flaca. I feel like there was almost this unintentional comparison of each other. Apologies, friends. I had to step away from the mic because my dog loves to bark at any given moment. But anyways, what was I saying? Oh, I was pretty much saying that I can't speak to being called anything else but flaca. So the opposite would be gordita, which my cousin was called growing up. And I know for sure it definitely made her mad and gave her her own set of, or it made her feel a certain way about her own body. So yeah, but I think it definitely unintentionally pit us against one another in one way or another. Yeah, I've really seen how being called that really got ingrained into my head, that anything else but flaca, if I became anything else but flaca, it wasn't good. I was almost losing a part of who I was, and I'm really starting to feel that now. As a woman, your body changes a lot. I swear, there's this thing that people call almost a second puberty, where you go through your first puberty, through your actual puberty, through middle school, whatever, as a teenager, and then all of a sudden when you're a grown woman and you're fully developed, you start to just gain weight in certain places, or your body starts to prepare for what it's made for, to give birth. And so you see all these changes, and people call it a second puberty, but I don't think that's really what it is. But you start to see all these changes with your body, and I'm no longer flaca anymore, at least in the direct meaning of the word. And so now I get different comments about my body, and it's annoying, and it really has given me a lot of negative self-talk about my body, just because I grew up with that idea that I'm supposed to be flaca and nothing else. So yeah, it's been hard disassociating myself from that word, even though, like I said, that's what I was called most of my life. So speaking more about how I view my body currently, it's a work in progress. Not every day I am head over heels about my body. Not every day do I feel beautiful. I don't feel bonita every day. And that's something I'm still working on. But I've definitely started to walk away from just hating my body directly. I've really been interested in learning more about this body neutrality, just seeing your body for what it is, for what it's made for, and that it's here to serve a purpose. It's not just for aesthetic reasons. It's here to to give you life, to get you places, to communicate, to move, and to express yourself. That's what your body is made for. So I've started to view my body more neutrally versus trying to view it positively all the time, because we're human. That's impossible to do. Of course, I'm going to feel like a bad bitch some days. Some days I'm not going to feel the cutest. So kind of reminding myself on those days that my body serves a purpose. It's here to keep me alive, to keep me breathing, to get me through the day. And it's okay if I don't feel beautiful that day. And it just really gets you away from viewing your body as just this aesthetic thing, because it's so much more than that. The past few years, I also have gotten into weight training a lot, and that has really impacted my body and how it's changed. I think a lot of people start working out with the idea of wanting to lose weight, and that's not a bad thing. Do what you need to do. But that's what I started off doing. I wanted to, lose weight and become more lean, whatever. And then I saw that I was just gaining all this freaking muscle, but it felt good. I feel like this is the strongest I've ever been in my life. And I did sports growing up a lot. I did a lot of sports. I was very active, but not till recently do I feel very, very strong. So instead of, going to the gym to lose weight, now I'm going to the gym because not only is it really good for my mental health, but I'm becoming stronger. As I became stronger, I started to see all the weight gain. And obviously I'm not, all the weight gain is fat. Some of it is muscle, but as women, we're taught to really hold on to that number and that it matters so much when it really doesn't. But aside from weight, I saw, my legs becoming bigger, my butt becoming bigger, and kind of feeling shame about it because I don't necessarily want attention to those areas. But on the upside, I also deal with a lot of knee problems. I have left knee chronic pain. Weak hips, I don't know, something wrong with having weak hips and having lower kneecaps, but I deal with chronic knee pain. But ever since becoming stronger in my glutes and my quads, that knee pain has subsided considerably. When I find myself focusing so much on this body part looks not like how I want it to, I really try to walk away from that and see what that body part serves, what is its purpose, non-aesthetic purpose. And for me, my glutes and my quads, they help me with my knee pain. Making those stronger helps so much with my knee pain, which in turn helps me sit for longer periods of time, take longer airplane rides, because I can't have my knee bent for a really long time or else it really starts to hurt. And I've noticed that, since becoming stronger, my quads and my glutes, the knee pain has gone down, and that is a beautiful thing. But again, too, with gaining all this muscle and all this strength, my body changed, which means a lot of my clothes started to fit differently. This summer, to be completely transparent with you, none of my shorts fit. None of them. They would not go past my thighs. And I'm not gonna lie, that hit me hard, especially when I needed shorts and it's hot AF here. It gets so humid here in Minnesota, so I needed shorts and I felt terrible. I'm the back of my head, I'm thinking, I've been working so hard to become strong, and now I'm feeling this, I don't like my body right now because I'm not the same size. And it just really comes down to how we were thrown all these things growing up, that skinnier is better, having a certain body composition is better, when that's not the case. And I was telling my therapist, she asked me, well, then how did you deal with that? How did you move past that negative mindset towards your body when you were trying on all those clothes and they weren't fitting anymore? And I told her it did suck. It sucks trying things on and they don't fit, and you have to get rid of all these clothes that you really like. But I reminded myself that if it wasn't for my body changing in that way, I wouldn't be as strong as I am. My legs are so much stronger. My knee hurts a lot less. So again, seeing my body for what its purpose is versus what it looks like aesthetically 24/7 has really helped a lot. But let's go back into the whole being called nicknames in your family thing. Now, my family will sometimes bring up, oh, we can't call you flaca anymore. Ya no estás flaca. You have bigger legs or whatever. Even my grandpa called me, pareces luchadora. You look like a wrestler. And I'm like, okay. Thanks. In my head, I was kind of excited because that means that, you can see that I'm stronger, which is nice. But it also is kind of like, okay, thanks, I guess. But again, I tried to remind myself, yay, finally my strength is showing physically, and that's awesome. But yeah, that just goes to show that nicknames never go away. They are always going to have something to say about your body, and it's very irritating. How do you deal with this? How do we as Latinas deal with this from our families? Because our families are always going to have something to say whether we want them to or not. That's just facts. And for me, it's really helped to decide which battles to fight and which battles to ignore, because some of them, they're just not gonna budge. They're always gonna have something to say. But again, I was talking to this about my therapist. My mom had commented something about my body, and it upset me because it was literally the first thing she said to me when I got to my grandma's house where we all were. And it pissed me off because you can't even say hi. You just have to comment on my body right away. And I didn't say anything, but I should have. And I think a good boundary to have is, can we please not talk about my body? And yeah, that's way easier said than done because I haven't done it yet and it's kind of scary. But I'm definitely going to try it the next time she does say something, and they are going to get upset, but you can't control how they feel. You have to set your own boundaries, but you're not responsible with how they take it. You're only responsible to be kind and to set up the boundaries that you need to feel authentic. Don't be afraid to set that boundary, like, can we not talk about my body, please? Thanks. They get butthurt, that's on them. That's not your problem. That is something that in the Latino community we need to stop doing. We need to stop commenting on other people's bodies because it's not fun, it's not cute, and it's just not okay. The sad part is that a lot of us grow up in families where this is kind of the norm. We're like, oh, ya viste a tu prima, ya engordó, or ya enflacó mucho, ¿verdad? I wonder what's going on with her. And it's none of our business. Their body is their own body. Like, we need to set this example that it's not okay to talk about other people's bodies when they don't want them to be talked about, especially in a negative way. Like, keep it to yourself. You are going to think what you think, but you don't need to share that with me. It's super important to set up that boundary, or else they're going to keep doing it. And I'm 26 going on 27 and they're still commenting on my body, and I'm sick of it. So yeah, set those boundaries as soon as possible. Again, easier said than done. Pick your battles. I think really you don't even have to explain why. Just saying, can we please not talk about my body? And you can end it there. Or please, can we not talk about my body? It doesn't feel comfortable. Yeah. Y punto. And just leave it at that, because or else they're going to keep going. And no está bien. And can we talk about stereotypes too, because media outlets don't help with this. They always portray Latinas as being super curvy, super sensual, super, and not all of us are made that way. We come in different shapes and sizes, and I think that's beautiful, but that just media portrayal of seeing the Latinas built as these curvy, licious goddesses, which there are some, but we're not all built like that. It just makes me so uncomfortable and sometimes ashamed of those body parts, because being on the curvier side, that's almost the only attention I ever got growing up from guys, and just, commenting like, oh, you're Latina, you have a nice body, and you know what, I'm much more than that. Or on the opposite end, I had friends that were Latina and their bodies didn't look like the stereotypical Latina, and they were put down for, not looking a certain way, and that's not okay either. It's we can't ever win. Either we look like the stereotypical curvy Latina and we get all this nasty attention for it that, and can we talk about how there's almost this double standard of clothing? So for example, someone who is more curvy could wear the same exact thing as someone who's not as curvy, gets body shaped for it. It could be as simple as a t-shirt, a form-fitting t-shirt, and you just happen to have larger boobies. You're gonna come off more sexual versus someone that doesn't, and I just hate that because it's just a body part. We're wearing literally the exact same thing, and you're giving me all this body shape for just a piece of clothing, and that's so freaking frustrating. I felt like to this day I can't wear certain things because I get bad attention for it, and that's something I'm working on because I should be allowed to wear whatever the fuck I want. But knowing that wearing certain things comes with certain type of attention just because I have certain larger body parts, it's annoying. And let me tell y'all a story. Okay, so I used to work at a home for people with autism. I was like a manager of one of the houses, and there was this other girl that worked with me. She would wear shorts and a tank top, which is perfectly fine. It was summer, it was hot, but I felt like I couldn't wear what she was wearing because of the reasons I stated previously. Like, it would look too sexy for a better or lack of better terms. But anyways, so I would wear either leggings or just like a t-shirt, and she would wear short shorts, nothing wrong with that, whatever made her comfortable, and a tank top. And one of the owners of the homes pulled me aside and because I was working with his son who was around 20. He has autism. Keep that in mind. He pulls me aside in front of the other manager who happens to be a man, and he's like, "Oh, what you're wearing is not appropriate for you to wear when working with my son, or just period." And mind you, I was wearing jeans and a shirt. Like a simple t-shirt, it wasn't even cropped. It was like down in my hips. I wore some pants, some jeans that I think they were jeggings, almost like a jegging material, because I bend down a lot. I have to help these people move from place to place, so it was like a very like active job. So I wanted to wear something that I could move comfortably in. But he pretty much like body shaped me in front of my coworker, just saying that what I was wearing was inappropriate. And I'll see if I could find like a picture or something and put it in the video on YouTube. So if you're curious, look at the video on YouTube just so I could show you what I was wearing. But again, it was like jeggings and a shirt, like a t-shirt with a very modest like neckline. Like you couldn't see anything. And the reason I brought up my female coworker is because she was wearing something that if I had worn that, I would have probably have been fired. But she wasn't curvy, so she didn't get body shamed for wearing what she was wearing. I never wore shorts to the job because of that exact fear that I would get negative attention for it, and it's just bullshit. I couldn't wear what I was comfortable working in, and I feel like growing up with this specific body type has made me hyper aware of what I wear 24/7, just because I don't want to get that negative attention, and it's really, really frustrating. So if you deal with this too, let me know. I've seen videos of this teacher on TikTok who gets body shamed all the time. She's also a little bit curvier, just wears totally work appropriate clothing, jeans and a flowy shirt, still gets body shamed. And it's just ridiculous. So yeah, just wanted to share that story with you guys, because it just shows how much these not even small, but these interactions can have an impact on the way you see your body and how you move through life with your body. And to summarize, it's just made me so hyper aware of what I wear. And it sucks. We haven't even gotten into height yet, so I'm pretty tall, so I'm on the taller side. I'm 5'6", 5'7". My grandpa's shorter than me, my mom's shorter than me, so like most of my family is shorter than me except for my brother. So I haven't shared this before, but I'm half white. I just didn't grow up with my dad. My dad is white, but he wasn't in my life, so I got most of my height from him. He's pretty tall. The height is also something that we get judged on, being called enanita or jirafa. Throughout school, there was this annoying little kid that would call me a giraffe. And yeah, I'm not even that tall. That's the crazy thing. But, there's also, this media portrayal of tall women being like super, what's the word? Like scary? Like, yeah, intimidating. That's the word. Of women who are tall being super intimidating. And again, I'm not even that tall. I am on the taller side, but it just made me again not want to wear like heels and stuff like that, because again, I would literally be like almost 6 feet tall in heels. And I'm trying to, not care anymore. And embrace how tall I am. There are days where I just wish I was short. Plain and simple. Because, again, Latinas are thought of to be as short and cute and curvy. And I'm not short. There's that. And being judged for being tall, and yeah. But I'm learning to love my height and embrace it a lot more. I still don't wear heels, but at this point it's because I just find them uncomfortable. But I just love me a good chunky like Doc Marten platform. Those are cute. Like, yes, I will wear the fuck out of those. So I'm just embracing my height so much more. So if you're a tall Latina, hey. If you're a short Latina, hey. We're come in all shapes and sizes, and that's beautiful. But another thing that I think most of us can relate to is freaking body hair and how that impacts body image. Like having to get rid of my bigotes like once a week, if not every other day. At this point, I just don't care. I go sometimes weeks without doing it just because it's so much work. But yeah, girl, I'm hairy. A lot of us are hairy, and that's something that impacts us growing up too. I remember, wanting to shave my legs at a young age because I grew leg hair pretty quickly. A lot of us would shave our arm hair. I have pretty hairy arms, but I just I don't care. I'm too lazy. That's a lot of hair to shave. And if you do shave your arm hair, whatever makes you feel comfortable. I don't judge anyone. Having to depilarme las cejas, so do my eyebrows very frequently, or else I will have a unibrow. I have chin hair now. And honestly, do what makes you feel good, whether it's shaving, whether it's not shaving. I don't judge. We shouldn't be judged for having body hair. Josh, it's not my fault I had more of a mustache than you in middle school than you ever did in your whole life. So stop being a hater. I still do my bigote. It's a whole thing, and I don't think my mom let me shave right away growing up. I had to wait at least until high school or late middle school. But yeah, I definitely remember getting made fun of for facial hair, especially my eyebrow, because if I didn't, do the middle part, if I didn't do my eyebrows, I would get a unibrow. I've been called Frida Kahlo, and Frida Kahlo is about bad bitch, so no shame in that. But getting judged for every single thing, whether it's height, whether it's how curvy we are, how much body hair we have, it's so annoying. So freaking annoying. I changed my lighting a little bit, so if you're watching on YouTube, if it looks a little different, that's why. Yeah, okay, so I was thinking about how machismo plays into all of this, and how the patriarchy plays into how Latina women see their body. And I think too, again, it comes with growing up being told that we can't show too much skin when male family members or family friends would come to visit. Like, ponte un pantalón que va a venir tu tío a visitarnos, or, siéntate bien, no enseñes todo. And, I was maybe 10 or 12. Why am I being told this? And I think that made us hyper aware of what we wear sometimes, not to show off too much or be careful of what we're wearing. And so all these little things that we were told growing up, not being able to not wear a bra when male family members were around, or not being able to wear shorts. And I'm not saying walk around in your underwear, right? But having to be more covered up than necessary. Ridiculous. And I think that really fed into me being hyper aware again of what I wear. I'm trying to work on it and just say, fuck it, I'm going to wear whatever I want to wear. But all these things that we got fed as kids just really bleeds into how we view our bodies. And I remember when I was younger, we went to Mexico to visit family. And I just remember my mom telling me to be extra covered up. I would have dresses that were maybe knee length, but I would still wear leggings or something underneath it, porque allá men, the catcalling and all that stuff is probably just as bad, if not worse, as catcalling in the US. And what was I was like 13, maybe younger, but yeah, just having to be, again, hyper aware of what I was wearing going out in public because I didn't want to get the wrong attention from men. So again, wearing leggings underneath my skirts and my dresses. And there was one time where the catcalling got so bad, just doing anything after school during high school, that I felt like I needed to wear like baggy sweaters during 90-degree heat to wait for the bus, because at least the men would leave me alone, kind of, like, or at least I would be called considerably less. And again, having all these experiences just makes me so hyper aware of what I'm wearing. And dude, I was 14. I was just waiting for the bus and having like men 20, if not twice my age, catcalling me. Like, dude, that's fucking disgusting. And it just, we don't talk about it enough, about how all these experiences just makes you feel so shameful about your body. And at least that's in my own experience. It's brought me a lot of shame for just existing how I look. And that's something I'm currently trying to work on still. But again, what has really helped me is just seeing my body as this vessel to get me places, to keep me alive, and that it's more than just aesthetics. But yeah, it's crazy how much catcalling and harassment really feeds into body image as well. That's why when people say that, oh, just embrace it, they're complimenting your body. And like, no, bitch, I don't care. Just leave me alone. Like, I remember walking to so many stores and places as like a younger kid and being catcalled every single time. For those people that say like, oh, is what you're wearing? No, it was not what I was wearing, because of these disgusting men, I was forced to wear a sweater, which sometimes didn't even help. During 90-degree weather, dude. That's how scared I was to just wear normal things. Yeah, so if you've dealt with catcalling, I'm sure you have. Every woman has dealt with it. Like, prove me wrong. I'm sorry. It sucks. And it shouldn't make you feel like disgusting. They're the disgusting ones, not you. You're just existing. Let's put an end to shaming women for just expressing their experiences with catcalling. Pisses me off. And the amazing thing is that after all this time, women are starting to feel more comfortable in who they are, whether it's expressing how they dress or shaving or not shaving and just doing whatever the fuck we want. And that's the beauty of it, right? We come in all shapes and sizes. We come with all these different beautiful personalities, so we shouldn't be all just put into one box. And then let's get into just seeing your body as like neutral, as this thing, and how body positivity could be a little bit out there and almost like impossible to achieve. I urge you to look into body neutrality. And let me just get a quick definition for you. So let me just read this definition here real quick once my camera focuses again. So body neutrality is a concept and a mindset that encourages individuals to shift their focus away from appearance-based judgments and instead cultivate a more neutral or accepting attitude towards their own bodies. Again, it's often seen as an alternative to body positivity. So while body positivity emphasizes loving and celebrating one's body, body neutrality aims for a more balanced and less emotionally charged perspectives. So again, just seeing your body as a vessel for life and not really tying all these emotions to it. And yeah, here's what I was saying before. There's an emphasis on function versus appearance. Promotes the idea that our bodies should primarily be appreciated for what they can do rather than how they look, which I love. Because our bodies can do so many amazing and incredible things, and it really makes us be grateful for what they can do, because someday we might not be able to do these certain things, especially as we get older and we get all these aches and pains and we can't move as much as we once used to. So it really makes you appreciate that. And it reduces self-judgment and self-criticism related to your appearance. And again, here, it's really just acknowledging the reality that it is. Body neutrality doesn't necessarily involve avoiding thoughts about one's appearance altogether. Again, it acknowledges that these negative thoughts and positive thoughts exist, but you don't attach yourself to these feelings. It's about recognizing that these thoughts are normal and that they don't define your worth. This one's probably one of the biggest things too. There's less pressure to love your body. Again, that was my thing with body positivity. Like, there's this pressure to love your body 24/7 all the time, whereas like body neutrality doesn't, and it's just a wider range of feelings, and it recognizes that not everyone can or should feel a constant underlying love for their body. So it's just acknowledging the reality that we live in. We're going to have these feelings, we're going to have these thoughts, so the biggest thing is to not become too attached to them. And yeah, that is really the biggest shift I've taken in how I view my body, just because, again, body positivity as its own cons. I just love seeing your body as this vessel for life, and that it really does serve a purpose more than just appearance. It's really here to take us on these beautiful moments, these beautiful adventures, to get us to places, to really prove us wrong sometimes. I never thought I could ever be this strong in my life, and I'm still aiming to become stronger physically, and it's just crazy that my body can do that, but also knowing that my body wouldn't be able to do that if it didn't look like how it looks now. It's a really great concept, and if you do want to learn more about body neutrality, let me recommend this audiobook/book. It's called The Body Is Not an Apology. I've talked about this book before, and it's great. It really hones in on the idea of body neutrality. Again, it's called The Body Is Not an Apology by Sonia Renee Taylor. Fabulous book. And if you're kind of questioning body positivity, or how to kind of move past how to feel about your body, at least in an aesthetic way, definitely recommend learning more about body neutrality and reading or listening to that book. It's awesome. Another big tip that has helped me with my body image is following and unfollowing certain pages. I know that's kind of hard when a lot of the creators that we do like online don't look like us, but if you start to see that it's impacting the way you view your own body, or you're constantly comparing yourself to them, it's not worth paying all the attention you give to them. Or if you find yourself kind of interacting with this content that focuses so much on how important it is to look a certain way, like, it's not worth your time. Follow creators that really don't focus on all of that make you feel empowered to be in your own body, that are open about their own struggles with body image, because at the end of the day, regardless of what you look like, we all deal with body image issues. That's just, again, something that I remind myself at the end of the day too. If I find myself comparing myself to someone, like, they probably deal with their own body image issues. Why am I comparing myself to them? And tying again back that body neutrality thing, and reminding myself of all the awesome things my body can do. Take a quick gander or just kind of take note the next time you're doom scrolling on TikTok or Instagram. Like, how does the content you're interacting with make you feel? Because again, that's something that we don't really pay much attention to. But if you notice that you're having these thoughts about your body and it's impacting your emotions, your mental health way too much, like, I really would consider taking a look at the content you're intaking and move away from it. Let's just summarize real quick. I will probably do another episode on body image again, just because there's just so much to it. I think we started off talking about, how our family calls us all these nicknames: flaca, gorda, enana, jirafa, all these nicknames that are so heavily tied to our body, that just really impacts our body image, and how to really move past that. And again, the biggest thing there was incorporating boundaries, just as simple as, like, can we not talk about my body, please? Just that, period, punto. And expressing that, and not feeling responsible about how the person that's receiving that message is going to feel. It's it's not your responsibility. And then we kind of talked about all these stereotypes of body image and Latinas and how Latinas are portrayed in media, how catcalling and, growing up in a family full of men kind of made us hyper aware of what we wear. Then we really focused on body neutrality versus body positivity and viewing our body for what its purpose is functionally versus aesthetically. I did find this statistic actually that a study published in the International Journal of Eating Disorders in 2020 found that Latina women in the United States were more likely to report body dissatisfaction compared to non-Latina white women. Took note of that because I found that super interesting, and I was wondering if it had to do with, all these nicknames tied to our body and all these comments on our body probably has to do with it growing up, because at least I feel like every time I talk to a Latino or Hispanic person, we kind of laugh and share like our nicknames that we were called growing up. What was your nickname? Was it, were you gordo or were you flaca, or were you morenita or or güera? Just all these. We didn't even get into skin color, but that's just another episode. But I really think that just those nicknames play a huge role in how we perceive our bodies. So I just found that statistic very, very interesting, because whenever I talk to my white friends, at least we've never bonded over that, like, oh, my mom called me fatty growing up. So that's just so interesting. So I wonder if it has any correlation. Oh, look at my psychology brain coming out. But I wonder if it has any correlation to all these nicknames that we were called growing up. But I just thought that was interesting. But okay, amigas, I think that is it for today's episode. Thanks for listening and joining in on this conversation about body image and body neutrality as a Latina. I hope that you found some of these topics helpful. I think it's a conversation that should be had more often in our community because, again, like I said earlier, I'm so sick of having my family comment on my body all the time, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate. So yeah, I think that is it for today. Make sure to follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Dinapreneur, and remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like, comment, and share the video. Feel free to share any ideas in the comments below or any experiences that you've had with body image growing up as a Latina or not Latina. If you feel comfortable, I know this is a very vulnerable subject, but feel free to share your own experiences below. Again, gracias. Thank you for being here, and hasta la próxima. Bye.